Accountability at work is a really tough one. So as a manager, you want to empower and coach your team to achieve the things in the organisation, but you also want to have some level of oversight to make sure the quality of work is actually consistent. So how do you keep everyone accountable without being like that manager from Office Space? For us, it's quite easy. We have an accountability dial with different levels of intervention. So an accountability dial is a concept I read about in a book called Good Authority by Jonathan Raymond. It breaks accountability down into 5 areas: the mention, the invitation, the conversation, the boundary, and the limit. So let's dive into each of them and go through them step by step. First is the mention, short and immediate feedback where you say what you see and check in early to make sure everything is okay. An example would be, hey, I noticed an observation about their work. Is everything okay? Next is the invitation. It's an informal chat, usually private, during which you help someone build awareness around a particular issue. So an example would be, I've mentioned issue a couple of times. Are we seeing a pattern here? Next is the conversation. This is a we need to talk meeting with a little bit of urgency around it because we're trying to deal with an important issue. An example would be, I've noticed this issue, it's impacting the team, let's discuss how to resolve this. Next is the boundary. At some point you'll need to pull rank and outline the consequences of not following through. Example being, I've noticed XYZ, we may have to consider consequences ABC. The next one is the limit. If the situation requires it, the employee may get one last chance to improve. An example being, hey, this is the final warning, let me lay this out for you. And in practice, you can kind of upweight it or downweight it based on the severity of the situation and the conversations you're happening inside the organisation. In general, you want to try and follow these 5 steps. Number 1, ask open questions. Things like, hey, what's working? What are you trying to achieve? Number 2, weed out excuses. Accountability is really uncomfortable for both people. So when you're asking and you feel you're getting an excuse, apply gentle pressure and then try to get them to self-resolve and show and demonstrate why they think they've done something bad. Number 4, don't solve, empathize. Now it feels great being the hero, jumping in and rescuing and solving problems for your team, but when you do that, you totally kneecap them and you kill their growth and you create dependencies on you. It's the equivalent of helicopter parenting. Let people make their own mistakes and just coach them into a better place. Number 5, disagree and commit. So this is actually one from Jeff Bezos of Amazon. So making suggestions when it comes to accountability, really dangerous. Because the thing is, when you're holding your team to account, they're going to fall back on the answer, oh, I was only doing what you suggested. And lastly, outline the consequences. So what happens if all the coaching and the feedback and all the improvement stuff, all the issues are still arising? Well, you just need to make sure that depending on the severity, people know what the consequences are. Continually late for meetings? Well, we'll just maybe remove your ability to work from home now. Not following procedures? That requires extra training. Continual careless mistakes? Formal warning. And worst case scenario, terminating employment. As a boss, it's your job to hold your team to account even when it's uncomfortable. And just remember that if you're making decisions that everyone's happy with all the time, you're not actually needed because they probably would have made that decision regardless if you were around or not. So it's a big job being a leader, but with the right frameworks, I'm sure you'll do an absolutely great job. That's everything for this week's Type Q&A. If you've got any questions or issues you're having in your organisation, leave them in the comments and I'll try and answer them as best I can. If you want to get any templates and guides and work out how we actually run our business, subscribe to our email newsletter. You can get it at email.typeamedia.net. And until next time, we will see you later.